China is threatening Taiwan with missiles, and Taiwan wants to return the favor with its own missiles. Will they deter China? Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. Taiwan is showered with love. Recently, U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi expressed her love for Taiwan with a visit, where she talked about the importance of supporting freedom and democracy. Meanwhile, China expressed its love for Taiwan in the most romantic way they know how, with missiles. That's romantic, isn't it? What gal wouldn't love that for Valentine's Day? The PLA launched military exercises off the coast of Taiwan last week, and those are still going on as of this recording. From the scale of these exercises, it's clear they were planned way before U.S. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan last week. But that visit was a great excuse to launch some of these.
China's biggest ever show of force in the Taiwan Strait. Footage from Chinese state TV claims to show the military exercises, which Taiwan says included 11 ballistic missiles fired into the sea. The drills were conducted in 6 areas surrounding Taiwan, 3 of which overlap the island's territorial waters, much closer than during a similar flare-up in the mid-90s. Beijing says the exercises are a legitimate defense of what China regards as its own territory.
See? Love. Because what says I love you more than violent displays of possessiveness and refusing to acknowledge your independence? At this point, China is basically the bad guy in every Lifetime original movie. China even tested its hypersonic missile off the Taiwan Strait. It's a missile that can go over 5 times the speed of sound. All these missiles could help China's invasion of Taiwan. It's not a matter of if the Chinese Communist Party invades, it's when. Kind of like Disney buying the planet. We all know it's inevitable, and that a bunch of folks will welcome our new mouse overlord. China's holding back at the moment because there are a lot of obstacles. You have the 80-mile-long Taiwan Strait, terrain, an entire population that's not going to welcome an invasion. Even small countries can do some serious damage against much larger invaders, like how Ukraine is standing up to Russia's invasion. Taiwan could do the same with China. But Taiwan wants to deter China from invading in the first place. And to do that, Taiwan wants missiles. Lots of missiles. See, I told you this would make a great gift. Taiwan's been getting some from the US, including hundreds of anti-ship Harpoon missiles. But it's not enough. Taiwan has very little international support for military hardware because China is pressuring so many countries not to help Taiwan. And that's why Taiwan wants to build its own missiles. More after the break. Welcome back. Taiwan wants to deter China from invading. And the best way to do that is to be so prepared to fight off an invasion that it's not worth invading in the first place. And if you're thinking, wait, isn't that basically the plot to that Jennifer Lopez movie Enough? Yes. Yes, it is. Because Taiwan and China's relationship can be described by just about any Jennifer Lopez movie. Deterrence is why Taiwan wants to develop new weapons, including missiles. That's their backup plan. More than 60% of the country's total military spending will go toward producing or acquiring anti-ship weapons, such as land-based missile systems. This includes more than doubling its annual missile production capacity, from around 200 missiles per year to nearly 500. To meet this goal, the Taiwanese National Chung-Shan Institute of Science and Technology aimed to build 34 new facilities to manufacture missiles by the end of June this year. Many of these missiles are short-ranged for defensive purposes. These are good for slowing down an amphibious invasion. Their defense is figuring out what to expect when you're expecting an invasion. But Taiwan's looking into missiles that go much further. One such weapon that Taiwan is developing is called the Yunfeng, or Cloud Peak. It's a medium-range, supersonic cruise missile powered by a ramjet engine and a solid fuel booster. Development for this missile first began in secret after the 1996 Taiwan Strait crisis, when China showered Taiwan with love. Fellas, if your advances are being met with her developing new weapon technology, it might be time for you to reevaluate. Cloud Peak managed to avoid public attention until 2012, but even then it was only last year that Taiwan's military officially confirmed the missile's existence. Until then, it did a pretty good job of keeping it out of sight. It's easy to see why. According to a senior researcher at the Institute for National Defense and Security Research, the Yunfeng missile is a key part of Taiwan's asymmetric warfare plan to erode China's combat capabilities. And under a project codenamed the Qilin Project, Cloud Peak missiles are being upgraded with dual-use technology to reach as far as Beijing and all Chinese bases south of it. This can help Taiwan take out distant command bunkers, supply facilities, runways, and even the Three Gorges Dam. That's according to the president of Taiwan's legislature. I wonder if China reacted to this the same way every bully reacts when someone stands up to them. Dang, why are you being so aggro? I was just messing with you. Geez, get a sense of humor. Given that China is testing hypersonic missiles, it's no surprise that Taiwan also wants hypersonic missiles of its own. Technically, Taiwan already has missiles that can go at hypersonic speeds, over 5 times the speed of sound. For example, its air defense platform has the TK-3, a surface-to-air missile that can go at hypersonic speeds to defend against aircraft and ballistic missiles. But what makes new hypersonic missiles special is that they can maneuver in different directions at high speeds, not just a predictable trajectory. This makes them much harder for China's military to defend against. Probably because the main thing China's focused on defending in an invasion of Taiwan is their excuse for why they invaded Taiwan. Would you believe we're trying to denazify them? Earlier this year, Taiwan had set up a hypersonic missile program office. Taiwan is the world leader in semiconductor production, a key component for missile systems. So it's in a good position to build hypersonic missiles. This could pose a huge threat to China. The question is, can Taiwan afford to build up its missiles? It's not like they're expecting a shipment from some kind of money train. The US is suggesting Taiwan take a slightly different approach. The US government is urging Taiwan to decrease its focus on some advanced weapon procurement programs in favor of less flashy but potentially more combat-relevant initiatives. There are some valid reasons for this. Taiwan can't outspend China's military-industrial complex. It also doesn't have that many missile launchers. This is bad news if China manages to destroy all of them in a first-strike offense, because it's not like Xi cares about casualties. Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Some military experts suggest Taiwan should focus on the ability to strike back with abundant, cheap, small weapons to deter China. If you want to learn more about that, check out the link to that episode below. In the end, though, there's one thing more important than which weapons Taiwan builds. And that's whether foreign governments like the US, Japan, and Australia have the guts to clearly state their willingness to defend Taiwan. There's no better deterrent than that. And so, China Uncensored is supported mainly through direct viewer contributions, mainly on the crowdfunding website Patreon. And as a perk for contributing $1 or more per episode, you can get one of your questions answered by me on the show. Today's question comes from Patreon supporter Matthew Pengelly. Hi, I'm an Aussie, and I just wanted to get your insight on our political situation. Is Australia in a better position against China now with our new Labour government, or are we now more vulnerable to China's influence because of our change of government? Or are we better off with the Liberals' foreign policy? Cheers, mate. Good question, Matthew. If you align with one party, it's easy to think the other party is worse on China. This perspective is actually pushed by politicians who are constantly trying to smear each other. Kind of like Donald Trump criticizing Nancy Pelosi for her visit to Taiwan. This is despite saying how he was tough on China. And Trump, of course, was also made in Manhattan. So with Australia, let me put it this way. Labour Party Prime Minister Kevin Rudd was very much in favor of friendly relations with China. But then Liberal Party Prime Minister Tony Abbott was also in favor of friendly relations with China. In 2015, he signed that free trade agreement. That was just the political climate at the time, the whole China is our friend idea. Things started to change around 2018. when a bunch of scandals broke that showed how Chinese billionaires were basically buying off Australian politicians. 2018 was also when Clive Hamilton published Silent Invasion. It exposed the Chinese Communist Party's infiltration into the Australian government at all levels and in both parties. The government began to take action, like by passing a law that finally stopped Chinese money in Australian elections. So the whole climate shifted. Then it shifted even more when China launched a trade war on Australia in 2020, after Australia called for an investigation into the origins of COVID-19. Now, during that time, there were two liberal prime ministers in a row. So it's easy to see these two leaders as being tough on China and link it with their Liberal Party politics. Maybe there's some truth to that. But I also see signs that new Labour Prime Minister Anthony Albanese will be tougher on China than previous Labour leaders were. For example, one of the first things Albanese did after taking office was join the Quad meeting with Japan, the US, and India. The main focus was dealing with China getting more aggressive. So I suggest that no matter who's in power, keep pushing your leaders to stand up to the Chinese Communist Party. Ultimately, in a democracy, politicians feel pressure to do what the people want. So, as part of the people, make sure you tell your leaders how you feel. Thanks for your question, Matthew. And thank you to everyone who supports China Uncensored. Your financial contributions are the main thing that keeps this show going. Visit patreon.com/China Uncensored to learn more. You can also support us through Locals, which is more of a social media platform. Visit ChinaUncensored.locals.com. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching China Uncensored.